I know this trailer's been out there for a while. It got leaked, but also I kind of wanted to experience it for myself on the big screen. And quick story time to how that didn't end up happening. So it's Saturday morning. I was ready up and early to go see Avatar: Fire and Ash. I already bought tickets for me and the fam. But also the thing is that okay, me and my dad got early from our paper route. Okay, I'm like, okay, we're done with this while we wait, and let's just get some breakfast and then we'll just be on our way to the movies. My mom was still in traffic, and I said, you know what? How about this? How about you make your way to go to the theater and meet us there while me and my dad got the tickets? I got yours, so by when you get there, you'll be able to just go in the theater right when we go in. Pops on our way to the theater, but the thing is that okay, we got our seats, we're sitting down, and I'm like, Mom ain't show up yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm just checking our phone. I'm like, hey, you on your way or how far are you? And it's taking a bit of time to get going. A couple trailers went by, but we didn't get to see the Avengers trailer, weirdly, as people said it was going to be before it. But we did get a new trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu, which there's some cool new scenes in here, but no Avengers trailer on the big screen. So that trailer might be fake then. Oddly enough, some clips did go by in theaters. Then also, funny enough, Marvel releasing this now, saying, "Yeah, you know what? We already knew you guys were going to record this, so let's try to make it official and actually release this thing." Full disclosure: I did miss like the first 10 minutes of Avatar: Fire and Ash just waiting while my dad enjoyed the whole movie in peace. Which, yeah, that's one of those moments where I'm like, "There's a reason I go to the movies alone sometimes." That out of the way, I just want to say Avengers Doomsday is on its way, and funny enough, we're really into that point where okay, the MCU has some ups. Lately, it's been on a little bit of a winning streak, kind of, where I'm like, okay, we already knew Brave New World wasn't going to be the big thing, and it kind of wasn't. I wasn't a big fan of it, and when Thunderbolts came out, I thought, okay, hopefully this one's good enough, and I thought, you know what, this is actually something decent, but also a fact that I'm like, you know what? These characters, most of them were introduced on Disney Plus and throughout separate movies. But I thought, you know what? This is actually a good step in actually introducing new characters, doing something most people haven't seen, but also you're introducing a movie with these nobodies, almost like Suicide Squad. But in this case, these guys were the real Suicide Squad. Fantastic Four did its things and won the public back with the actual heart and soul of the MCU in the Fantastic Four. And I thought, you know what? Now that we're going into Doomsday, and I guess the next thing is technically Doomsday or Spider Man, depending if they change that release date. Because I'm like, okay, it's coming in December, but it's still coming out in July. Intro out of the way, and also there are some things I kind of want to do talk about after the reaction because I feel like, okay, now we're going into another Avengers movie and the state of the MCU, and there's little things I actually want to talk about first. Now that we're like, okay, piece by piece, we're starting to get a little bit of promotion for this film, and also this is like the biggest one after the big Doom announcement and the cast reveals where I'm like, who else is in this thing, sort of? But let's see how this goes. So let's get to the trailer. Peggy's home from the end of Endgame, and him himself. The Endgame costume, and the biggest reveal out of this trailer. With the ending he actually did get, till now. This also want to talk about also the new logo. Yep. Not gonna lie, guys, it's kind of great to know that Steve Rogers is actually coming back in Avengers Doomsday. Part of me feels like, yeah, Avengers Endgame does feels like the end of that whole chapter from Phase 1 and 3. And seeing as though, okay, we already have Sam Wilson as Captain America as our new leader of the Avengers, hopefully. But there was still that little side of me that thought, do you really think they weren't going to bring back Captain America for this movie? but also the sense that there are other key characters that aren't in this movie specifically. Like a couple Avengers members aren't here. Hulk, Hawkeye, a couple of the main ones that should be there aren't here. So I guess it's like, okay, we got a handful of Avengers, but from the ones we actually do have returning, we have Thor, but also we have Robert Downey Jr. in a different role. So that wouldn't mean Chris Evans wouldn't come back as Captain America also. And this would be the second time he actually will return, because you almost remember that last year in Deadpool Wolverine, he did come back, not as Captain America, but as Johnny Storm, in the sense that, oh, so I guess it's not at the table if he could come back, because I thought, oh yeah, he came back as Johnny Storm as like a little cameo and also nod to the Fox universe. But as Captain America, I thought, well, technically, if you want to do bring a little bit of limelight to this movie, and with the number of characters in this movie, I guess it would make sense where it's like, yeah, here are the main ones we announced for the main story and plot. But there's still that little part of me that thought, okay, what other Marvel characters or possibly returning heroes would make appearances in this? Because I feel like, yeah, we have our own four separate Avengers groups in their own little sections. Because I get like, okay, we have the main Avengers, we have the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Wakandans, and we have the X-Men doing their own thing. But I guess this isn't going to be more like, oh, we're not going to be revisiting parts of the past. Most of the story is going to be with these characters. And I don't even know if it's just me, but I feel like returning characters, I guess it would be a big thing for this finale, I guess. Finale, or should I say restart for this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe? Some people might think it's nostalgia just to bring back Steve Rogers, but also if you really think about it, the Marvel Universe after Endgame, I'd say Spider Man Far From Home, but I guess let me just count Endgame first since that was technically the end of that Infinity Saga. You end off Endgame with Tony Stark dying and Captain America leaving the fight to go back living life in the past. But you got to remember, yeah, those characters are gone, but technically speaking, in comics, not everybody goes away for a separate period and then comes back. Yeah, we have that moment where, oh, these characters die, but then they come back in a separate issue and they reanimated, or oh, we found a different one from another dimension. But the thing is that for the MCU, yeah, some characters die, but some characters still live on within the names of the character in hand, because you got to remember, yeah, we lived in an MCU where, okay, these separate characters exist. We have Iron Man, we have Captain America, we have Thor, Hulk, but you don't have the mainstays like the Fantastic Four or the X-Men established yet. Right around Phase 3 is when they brought in Black Panther, and the fact that, oh, we're going to introduce new characters, like new ones the comic characters will know, but actually the fans will realize, wait a minute, they own these characters. So does that mean at some point these guys will show up? At the time, Marvel used B and C list characters to actually fill up the movies. And the fact that it was at the time, it was like, okay, we have our Avengers movie. But also when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy at the time, it was like a, the who? I was familiar with them, but also the fact that, oh, I knew them because of Ultimate Marvel Capcom 3 with Rocket Raccoon, and then I thought, what's he from? And when I saw it read first introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, okay, so let me read more about this character and see what's up. Once we got to run to Phase 3 when they introduced Doctor Strange, our first actually introduction to our MCU Spider-Man, which, okay, you have another mainstay hero from a separate studio that actually is collaborating to actually introduce him and actually have him be part of our universe. That's cool. Even Captain Marvel was somebody who was going to be introduced early along as Age of Ultron with the deleted scene, but they thought, okay, nobody knows who this character is at this point, and introducing it here doesn't make enough sense if nobody knows anything about it, so we're going to save her for a movie. The MCU as of now is filling in positions where early characters would be, but and it's just the thing where it's like, okay, we miss these characters, and the reason we love these movies is because of those characters and also because of those actors. Yeah, we have a point where everything ends, but if Endgame was the last movie, and let's say this was the end of the MCU, and that was our saga, and that was the story we wanted to tell, cool. We'll accept the reboot in a couple more years. But seeing as though we're going 18 years of the MCU at this point, it's like, yeah, you can keep going, but at some point, some people are actually going to jump off of it since you're removing a couple characters we actually do like. Seeing that this movie is technically the return of a couple older cast from the X-Men, I'm like, okay, cool with that we have them, but also it's like, yeah, it would have been cool if we saw them all interact at least, because now that we're seeing a Fantastic Four coming in and an X-Men coming in, I'm like, yeah, see, stuff like this is what I wanted to see from the beginning, and seeing as though we don't have the mainstays like Iron Man or Cap, it's cool seeing as though, okay, Cap is back. I know Tony's going to be dead for a bit unless they want to actually do that thing and have Robert Downey Jr. fight Robert Downey Jr., which it would be a possibility for them to do that, but I don't see that happening. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually do like Captain America the most out of Iron Man, because I feel like, yeah, I feel like everybody had to like Iron Man at a point, because I'm like, oh, he's the thing that jump started this universe. But I was like, yeah. Iron Man is not my thing. Captain America, like those guys weren't my actual. Okay, if I had to pick a Marvel character, those wouldn't be the ones I'd pick off the top. But seeing him throughout the movies, and particularly if I'm gonna be honest, Chris Evans in that role, that's the thing where I'm like, yeah, you make me actually like this character, and it's like not just yeah, America is the only thing that actually represents this character for me. He's actually a soldier and the one who's actually there to stand down the fight. Like the grenade scene in the first movie, that's the thing where I'm like, oh, just that little moment just made me fall in love with that character. I'm like, okay. Even before he was Captain America, before he even got the serum, it was like, oh, he's just a small guy, but he's still fighting with honor the way it should be, just because he actually wants to do the right thing. Lastly, just to end this off, this isn't even actually the last trailer that they're doing for this. I heard that they're actually doing like a weekly number of trailers, like I think 4 in total. I'm not going to be hinting on what the fourth one is because they wouldn't put 4 for no reason. But I guess it's going to be keep putting the main characters of this movie exactly because I know that they said, okay, Captain America's the first one. The next one's going to be probably Thor, maybe Doctor Doom. I don't know if they're going to be actually doing that or maybe a Fantastic Four trailer actually introducing them into this. But I don't know if they're going to be doing something about the X-Men since I feel like that's the one they actually want to do keep like onto the side until a main trailer. But in this case, I'm glad to see that Captain America's back, most especially Steve Rogers. But also, funny enough, you think at some point in this movie it's not going to be on some, hey, you still have the shield, or somebody calling Cap Cap, and they're just going to be looking at each other like, you're Captain America, I'm Steve Rogers. It's the little things now that we have our mainstays back. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All my social medias down in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.